Welcome to this week's episode of Serving the Community podcast. Each week, your host Trisha Stetzel is highlighting people and organizations in our communities that are serving through volunteer work and giving back to make our community, country, and even the world. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Serving the Community podcast. My name is Trisha Stetzel. I'm the owner of ResultsXtreme Business Solutions and the founder of Serving the Community podcast. I am very excited about having my guest on today, who was introduced or reintroduced to me by Miss Amanda Boyd with the Sanctuary of Foster Care. Miss Gayle Nelson with Family Promise of Clear Creek is on with me today. Welcome, Gayle.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I am so excited about having you on the show today. And we were talking before the show, before we started the recording, about how unique your organization is. But before we get into that, let's introduce you. So talk to me about who you are, how you got involved in this organization, and then we'll take a deeper dive.
Okay, well, I'm Gayle Nelson with Family Promise of Clear Creek. I've been executive director here for about 3.5 years. The organization was relaunched in March of 2017, and I came on board that fall in November. My background has been, I wanted to be a counselor, a family therapist. And so I was going to school for that. And then I realized, well, maybe what I could do is do it part-time, maybe do marketing, because I was working in the advertising agency realm while I was going to school. And I figured, well, maybe I could be, handle marketing for the organization along with counseling. So that's kind of what my focus was. And lo and behold, I was pretty good at in that realm. So I started my own promotional organization and was able to do promotions for folks across the country. So that was a lot of fun. But since I turned 18, I've been volunteering. I started off with Crisis Hotline when they were around, and volunteered with Family Service Center in Houston and a number of other groups throughout the years. And it's something that I've ingrained with my son, and I do with families. I try to get as many people involved in. I think we all need to help support the communities that we live in. And there's multiple ways of getting involved. I didn't realize there's 26,000 nonprofits in Texas, and so there's lots of things to do. And we make our community stronger by being involved in that. So I've had a real heart for that. Working in the business world kind of desensitized you, and I didn't really feel like I was making that much of a difference. But so I really wanted to do a deeper dive and feel, see, be boots on the ground with an organization. And an opportunity happened with Family Promise, and it's definitely filled that need within me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I love that. What a great story, Gayle. And I know you and I had the opportunity to talk a couple of weeks ago about, giving back and how important that is as business owners. And even through, well, you and I met through originally the Bay Area Get Together, which is a great organization bringing nonprofits and local business owners together, which I think is so important because there are so many resources out there. So let's take a deeper dive then into Family Promise of Clear Creek. You were telling me that it is an affiliate. So there are other Family Promises across. Let's talk about the numbers.
Okay, we are one of over 200 affiliates across the U.S., and we are the fourth one in the Houston Gulf Coast area.
Okay.
List. The others have been around for quite some time. And actually the affiliate in Fort Bend County, it's the Fort Bend Family Promise. They are piloting a different program for Family Promise.
Wow.
They're doing an emergency shelter program, 30 days max, but they have children's programs, and they're raising millions of dollars to do children's programs. And so it's an interesting concept, and one that they seem to be very successful at. So I'm thinking that's going to be spreading around the other Family Promise affiliates. So it's an opportunity to grow there.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And it's great to be an affiliate because then you have other parts of the organization that you can feed off of and learn from. But what you were sharing with me is that all of your fundraising is local. You don't get there's no money coming in from any place else just because you happen to have this affiliation with Family Promise. So all of the fundraising is done here locally in the local community.
And it's governed by a local board. So we are all, even though we have the same basic um, concept or program, we're all a little bit different because we serve the needs in our specific community. And we're one of the largest insofar as numbers of school districts that we serve. We're serving not only CCISD, but Pearland, Friendswood, Alvin, Dickinson, Texas City, Lamarck area. So we have a huge area to cover.
Okay, wow. So at this point, I think people are very curious about what in the world does Family Promise do in our community. So let's talk a little bit about that, Gayle.
Okay. Well, we are a community-based response to family homelessness. Okay, so that's saying a lot. So we can really unpack that. We work with 17 churches in the community, and 13 of them house our families overnight, 1 week every quarter, and the other four partner churches assist them with that help in other areas where they might not have all the volunteers and stuff. They'll fill in for them. We partner with 17 churches, 5 school districts, and a lot of businesses. We offer a holistic program that when people get through this program, they are 100% successful after 12 months after they've left us. So we have a system set up, a program set up that produces results. And it's positive result. It's a pretty strict program. And we're kind of like, I look at a mom and a dad relationship, right? So you have a nurturing mom and you have a disciplinarian dad, which sometimes those roles are reversed, but at any rate, you have some combination thereof. And we run the program, and our churches and volunteers are the nurturing aspect. They are hospitality overload. They welcome our families into their churches and their homes, treat them as family, feed them. Of course, if you're homeless, shelter and meals are 2 things that you absolutely need. But we take a dive into a lot more. There's a lot more that you need other than just that. So we require families when they get into our program to go to counseling because they have gone through a lot of trauma to then finally lose their home being the last straw. And then they're just, where do we go from here? Now, our families, if you go to a regular shelter, an emergency shelter, they're going to separate dad and teenage boys from mom and the other kids. And we don't do that. We feel like families are stronger together, and it's just another trauma that you add on their back to separate families. Because chances are they're going to split up after that, because it's really an awful situation to be in with your family. We've had teachers in our program, nurses in our program, a whole host, a variety of backgrounds. Something our families have in common, besides being homeless, is the fact that they don't see themselves as that. Okay, they don't relate to the homeless, because whenever I say homeless, the picture that comes in most people's minds are seeing people sleeping underneath the bridges or panhandling and what have you. And our families aren't that, and so they don't view themselves as homeless. They're often referred to as hidden homeless, try to blend into situations. Well, we serve a wide variety of families in our program. And as I was referring to the hidden, they refer to themselves as the hidden homeless. Uh, and they try to blend in because something that they fear is losing their children. They think that their children will be taken away from them if anyone finds out that they're homeless, which that's not the case. Um, the courts and anybody in that arena or at those agencies, they want to know that the parents are doing all they can to help children. And if they go into a shelter program, especially one like ours, they think positively on that. We work with a lot of CPS caseworkers in Harris County, Galveston County, Brazoria County, and they love our program. And they call us with referrals as well.
Okay. Well, and I want to circle back to make sure that everybody understands, because this is something that really moved me the first time I heard you talk about family promise, is you said families get to stay together. And I didn't realize, and I'm guessing that many of my listeners today didn't realize that when people go to a shelter, a regular shelter, that they will be separated. And what Family Promise is doing is keeping families together. And I think that is the coolest thing on the planet. Like, I had no idea that hidden homeless, right? The fear of getting split up is really what drives Family Promise. And you guys have measurements, and you said 100% successful over a 12-month period, right? Where these families
program.
Yeah, that is amazing, Gayle. That is just fantastic. Okay, so you can keep going with your story, but I just wanted to circle back around to the idea that these families don't have to be separated if they come into the Family Promise organization for help.
Thankfully, some of the emergency shelters are trying, now with COVID, it's kind of put a little bump in the road. Have been trying to come up with solutions for that because they're seeing whole families coming in there and they are splitting them up, and they're trying to at least devote a few number of beds. If they can separate a room, they can put a family in a room. So they are trying to do that. They're not set up to do that. So unless they have the space, they can't offer that as an option.
Before the show, we were talking about one more family member. You guys recently received a grant, as I understand it, and it helps with even keeping the pets together with their families. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Pets with a Promise. I'm so excited because many families have pets, and I'm a dog lover. We've got 3 dogs of our own. They're not going to go anywhere without their pet. And consequently, they're going to stay homeless, and because they have a pet, and shelters will not allow you to bring a pet in there. Well, while we don't allow them to bring it inside our program, we do work with boarding facilities. We received a pet from the Pets with a Promise. And in fact, we just had a graduation of a family last summer who had a pet, and we kept their pet boarded where they could go and have visitation privileges on weekends. His name was Ace, and he was there before them, and he was waiting for them whenever they got out and moved into their new apartment.
Oh, that's wonderful. What a great story. I just love that so much. So, Gayle, let's spend the balance of the time talking about how people can get involved with Family Promise. There are so many opportunities. Even just looking at your website, there's a whole list of ways that people can get involved. So let's talk about those.
We have, so think about it. We have a holistic program. So we touch on every aspect of someone's life. So there's countless ways to get involved. If you're a business person and you want to work with someone on helping their employment skills, we have an employment skills class. We have 3 teachers who teach it. They 1 week, 1 day a month, they come in and they conduct a 1-hour class for us on employment skills. They help our families put together resumes. They help them hone their skills in job hunting, as well as we have, and I think your husband did this, mock interviews
He
for.
did.
Um, it's priceless. That tutelage is priceless for our families. Also with financial literacy, we have 3 different financial literacy teachers that come in once a month. It's just 1 hour a month. They talk on budgeting and cash flow management, debt pay down, setting SMART goals, all kinds of things that kids are not getting in school. This is education that they're just not having, that many of our guest families said, if I would have had this information, this education 5 years ago, I wouldn't be in this situation. And it's sticking with them. So it's keeping them 12 months after they leave our program. And they're usually in our program 3 to 4 months, maybe. Okay. It varies on the person. We don't put a time limit on it. It's just they have to be working our program to stay in our program. Okay. But anyway, so we have volunteers who teach those classes. We've got volunteers that just help them find homes, help them find housing in the area. That's affordable housing is really difficult to find, and you have to have people who know where things are and can help our families do that. We also have someone come in. We've got because we live where we do, we're down here in the Clear Lake Bay area, we have no mass transit. So we started a program called Ride to Success, and people will donate vehicles to us, and then we in turn loan them to our guest families.
Wow.
They need to learn how to take care of their car.
Yes.
We have a guy who comes in and teach automotive maintenance classes to our family.
Wow, that's great.
Oh, he was cool. And so he had one of our guest families, a mom down there taking the tire off her car and putting it back on. So she feels very confident now doing that. So we have all kinds of other programs. We have an attorney who volunteers with us and teaches a hard discussion to have is end of life situations, right? Mm-hmm. And she comes in and talks about, well, what if something happens to you? What do you want to have happen to your children? Yeah. She'll work with them on getting legal documents that they need together.
That's great.
To do that. So it's things that people don't think about even, have just arisen, and we get people involved with everything. We have an office angel position where you can come in and help us with, we have 2 staff members, 2 full-time staff members, 1 part-time. The part-time person drives for us on Sunday. She's actually a past graduate of ours. And we pay her every Sunday. She picks up the bids from one church and takes them to the next church for us. So that helps out in immense ways. We have another lady who comes in and she'll go and check our mailboxes or make bank deposits for us. And it sounds like it might be a trivial little thing, but that is a major thing for us. Because not only do you have to get things ready before you go, then you have to be out of the office, do what you need to do, then come back, get back into it. It saves us, at least 6 to 8 hours a week. So the little things that people can do really do help. We have guest families, when they graduate, we help them fill their apartment or their home with furniture, because 9 times out of 10, they come to us and they have nothing. They've lost everything. And so we help them fill that up. Well, we need people to help move the furniture, help, pick it up from one place, take it to the next.
Sure. So you've got, I'm assuming if we send people to your website, there's a place that they can put their name in if they want to help volunteer their time. I also know that you guys have a big event coming up in April. So will you talk about, and it is on April 21st, Giving Day, right? So will you talk about that for people who don't have the time to volunteer but want to give in a different way?
Absolutely. This is our second formal Family Promise Giving Day. This is where, there's a Giving Day every think it's the first Tuesday, or it's the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. Because you have Black Friday and then you have Giving Tuesday. And it's where people are, here's an opportunity to donate to an organization, to donate to a nonprofit, to help them continue with their services to the community. And that's really big globally. We're a little fish. We're a little organization, and not a lot of people know about us. And so Family Promise affiliates, all over 200 of us. I think there's 223 now. We are all talking on the same day with the same message, but for our specific community, right? So we're all talking about homelessness, what that means, what that looks like, who's involved, what they're doing, what we're doing. And we're all talking about it that week, and it culminates on April 21st. And we're all donations going in that day. We're trying to exceed what we did last year, which was incredible, which was $25,000.
Wow, that's amazing.
For this year.
Okay. I love it. That is awesome. All right, Gayle, I know that we could spend twice as much time talking about Family Promise, but we're at the end of our time today. I will post all of the information that we talked about and links to your website in the show notes. But if you would give contact information for those that may be listening in their car today, give your contact information, how they can get in touch with you at Family Promise.
Absolutely. If you know someone who's homeless, who needs a safe place, who will care for them, have them call us. It all starts with a phone call at 832-932-3963. And that'll get the ball rolling. If you'd prefer to email, it's office, OFFICE, at ccfamilypromise.org.
That's wonderful. Gayle, thank you so much for being here with me today and talking to us about Family Promise of Clear Creek.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome. And that concludes this week's podcast of Serving the Community.